All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the Smirking Gun Reviews. This is Rob, and we're back with another episode of The Man in the High Castle, Season 1. We are at Episode 7, called Truth. A lot of truth in here, and a lot of lies still. Um, really good episode. Spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen the episode, please go ahead and watch it, and then come back. So we immediately just get right going. Joe's caught. And again, how Rufus Sewell decides to play it is fantastic. Because there's no, Joe's fucked. And, but there's this fatherly still way about Smith, where any other person would just be, dragged out of his house and killed quietly, because he wouldn't want his family to be exposed to that kind of thing. So they take him to the office and they, get him to tell the truth. And Joe pretty much does. Because Smith already knows everything. There's no point in hiding it. If you lie now, even a little bit, it's just you're done. And you pretty much should be done already. But for some reason, Smith has this affection for this guy that goes kind of, it's a little inexplicable because, if other people saw him being this, lenient, I think Smith would be in just as much trouble as Joe in some ways. But this is all just to get to Juliana, who they already know about. They know where she is. They know her phone number. They have everything. Every time you think that, you're getting away with something in this world, you're not. Somebody knows. Somebody knows, and somebody's eventually going to use it. And it's just crazy. So he agrees, of course. He tries to call her, but it's not a good time. Because her and Frank, Juliana and Frank finally, they've said, I'm sorry, or at least she said, I'm sorry, a bunch of times. This is where he talks to her about, what happened after she left and how he almost, killed the prince, and has this, just sad story and everything. And he breaks down, which means, nothing's like a turn on more than a story about almost murdering a prince. So they have a nice night together. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Maybe it's just one of those desperate things where they don't know how to do anything, but let's have sex. And that's like the day after like Joe calls, and she also tells Frank the truth about Arnold. And it's kind of like there's a lot of things that are kind of confessed in this episode. So now Frank knows that Arnold's working with the Japanese and the surveillance department, and Arnold calls, to have Juliana come to the house because his wife, her mother, is having a bad episode, and so she goes over there, and again, this seems just about hiding Trudy's death, and Arnold doesn't know, her mother doesn't know. And more truth comes out when Juliana goes to work and her and Arnold do see each other. So last time episode, I thought maybe he saw her. He didn't. But now the cat's out of the bag. So more truth. They're both exposed to each other. Him knowing that she works there, her knowing that he's been working there for 16 years, saying he's been working at the post office, which is, you got to give it to the guy. For a guy who's just kind of humdrum average, he's been able to keep a pretty damn big secret for 16 years. So they have their conversation, and she hides that Trudy's dead from him. He's talking about how he had to find out about Trudy and explain it to his bosses. I think he may be giving them a little too much credit on the whole, I've been working here for 16 years, it should matter if you were Japanese, it would matter. If they kept you around, it's for something else, I believe. Anyway, so we also have Inspector Keto coming to Gomi. You know, he's like, hey, Juliana Crane, her sister's, bad news. And, because all this stuff reflects honor and all this other stuff and perception is so important, he expects Tagomi to fire her. And she does, offer to fire, get quit or whatever. But he won't have it because, again, the connection, there's something there. Which we find out more about in this. That, Tagomi feels like, she's got a role to play. But it's more than that. Because, we see Tagomi, looking at pictures of his wife, starts to cry. He goes out to his garden. I can't wait till we get to that stuff, but it's kind of pointless to talk about it in detail too much here. But the actor, I can't say his name right now, but the one who plays Tagomi, this is like the best thing I've ever seen him in. This is the best acting. This is the best role I think he's ever had. Just all the emotion and range this guy has is amazing. Let's see what else well, Frank, like I said, it'd be pretty easy to find out if Frank worked at a gun shop place, and yes, they do. They find they're back at the factory, and yeah, when he takes off, that it was all just a setup again, another setup to see where Frank goes, and where Frank goes is to that guy that helped him with his sister, the Samson guy, and they're more talk about faith and everything, and that I don't know, that conversation was a little, I don't know, boring, but it has a point. You have to still live, can't live in fear, kind of moment. But I have a bad feeling about Samson's family and everything. I think Frank might have just led the Japanese to this guy, where his life may be in danger because of Frank. We also have that Frank, well, let's go to the antique dealer. Okay. He's got probably the most interesting part to play in this episode, which is he's been invited to go over to this house where these people that frequent his store, he thinks it's like this great honor. He's being greeted as an equal kind of, even though, God, he is kissing ass hard. And this whole time, he feels like, oh, this is great. He's finally able to talk to somebody on his level intellectually. He's having these conversations, even though the husband is kind of I don't know. The wife keeps looking at her husband like, oh, God, he's doing it again. Kind of embarrassed, kind of ashamed. But the antique dealer, he doesn't know this. He's so happy to be talking amongst, people, because he feels kind of above people a little bit. Kind of sees a lot of people as stupid, and ignorant. And then to be revealed at the end of this dinner that he was just an experiment, that he was just information, that this was just her husband wanting to learn more about America, and he was just a means to an end, and quickly cast aside. He thought he made friends, he thought he made connection, he thought he had something, and it just kind of, the wool gets pulled out from under him, the rug gets pulled out from under him, and now he's pissed. And it's, he's got a grudge now, and it's kind of interesting because it's a little petty, but it's this guy, he's kind of had enough. This humiliation was kind of that's it. And so he decides to screw these people over. So when Frank comes wanting to sell them guns, I don't know what kind of plan that would be a terrible plan. His plan, on the other hand, is small, but still makes money, which is, let's create a forgery. This fucker thinks that he knows how to spot forgeries, but he doesn't. Let's make 80,000 yen, split it down the middle. Let's screw these bastards over. They're just spending their money on crap that we could say is anything. So I think that storyline is pretty funny. what we have also, well, Joe's on his way to the Pacific States. But before this, we find out Joe has a girlfriend who, even though he's pining hard for Juliana, he goes to bed with. I just, those are the parts of stories that I just fucking hate. Very CW, very, dumb drama stuff where the love triangle that doesn't really need to be there is there. It's like, whatever. I'm not going to go any further on that because he goes to the Pacific States, and sees how different it is in Japan, in the Japan side where he can't just walk up to a cab because he's a white guy. They throw him to the side, which is kind of funny. And Juliana and Tagomi talk again. And this is where he tells her about, she's got a role to play. And gives her the address to go to find her sister because he doesn't know that she already knows she's dead. He thinks he's doing her a kindness by telling her she's dead because of the sympathy she had for him. And so he takes, gives her the address and she goes to like a grave. She thinks she's going to just a grave. And this is where we find the pits. The pits of the pits. Because we find all these mass graves of people, us Americans, just killed and thrown in there. And you think it's just one, but when they start to pan up, and I was wondering why they panned up and just cut real quick, because if they had stayed on that shot, you'd see there are more pits of just dead bodies. And it's pretty sick and pretty sad and just terrible. And she finds Trudy. I don't know how. Convenient story, like you have to, whatever. You can overlook little things like this sometimes, but she does find Trudy, and it's fucking sad as hell. And as she gets back, she's been saying that she's seeing Trudy, and that her mother thinks that she's still alive. And quite honestly, I can't remember if that's true. But as she's walking through the market looking for Trudy, Joe's behind her, and that's where we end the episode. This is a very accurate title to the episode, Truth. But like I said, there's a lot of lies too. A lot of truths coming out of lies, a lot of lies, coming from truths. So anyway, another solid episode. We've only got 3 episodes left of season 1. Hopefully, after I get done with work today, I'll be able to get another one of these done. But in case I don't, let's see. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, comment, hit the bell if you want to know when all my videos come up. I just did my Walking Dead Andrew Lincoln leaving video last night. Also did Preacher, Sharp Objects newest episode, and comic reviews and other stuff is on there we just put out. I'm sure I'm forgetting something because I've been cranking out the videos. So anyway, this is Rob from Smirking Gun Reviews saying we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for all the support, and yeah, have a great day. Bye.